All of the robots are assembled right here in South Africa. People, if I may have your attention, please.
Very early on, during the Chappie casting period, Neil had said to myself and Simon and a lot of other people, Sigourney Weaver in the movie. Sigourney Weaver is so iconic to the sci-fi world that why would you not want Sigourney Weaver in your movie if it's a science fiction film?
Because she's so identified as Ripley, because especially in Neil's brain, she is so that character, it was almost hard to imagine her as a different character in a science fiction movie.
Look, we still have one more stab at the police tomorrow. You just keep trying to get the costs down, all right?
She is one of the, if not the most archetypal female character in the history of science fiction movies. And having Sigourney Weaver on the set of a science fiction movie that you're working on is about as surreal as it gets. She's such a completely different character in this movie than she is in the Alien movies. There's a sort of fun wink in some ways, but it's something totally different that you haven't seen her do in a science fiction movie before.
Okay, ready and action.
I wanted to show her, like, she doesn't have a family, so she has a picture of a dog next to her bed. In fact, there are pictures of dogs all over my office. I do think it's lonely at the top. I don't think she socializes a lot. And it has a kind of very private life, I think. All this stuff about artificial intelligence really leaves her cold. Unless it can hold a weapon and shoot it, she's really not interested.
There's a kind of, I suppose, classiness to her, which, you know, we need. We're not very big on class, you know. We need to sort of up the ante with the classiness. So Sigourney brings that, because Hugh's character's not bringing it, I'm not bringing it, but Sigourney definitely brings the class, you know what I'm saying?
A new kind of life form, new step in evolution.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Great.
Droid 22 written off, crushed the chassis and recycled the alloys.
When we started talking about casting Dion, none of the people that we even discussed were over the age of 30. And for Neil, really his first choice was Dev. I called Dev's agent. I was like, this is a call that very few agents get, but he's the only option for the part, so he has to do it.
And action.
The reality of the world is a bunch of kids in their garages who are, you know, making the technology that's going to transform our world. Dev has the thing that Neil was looking for, which is he feels intelligent, but he also feels very sweet and human and sort of open-faced.
My initial worry was, am I too young to play this? And Neil has complete faith, and his faith in me is what really gave me this confidence to come in and play him like I did. The thing that constantly grounds me in my character is just being incredibly, intensely passionate.
He's got such a natural sort of effervescence and extrovert kind of personality. And to put that in what is often played as a sort of nerdy, quiet, sort of computer geek sort of thing is, I think, brilliant.
Chappie!
Dev plays it so beautifully. And I think probably the real scientists are the young geniuses. We just haven't heard their names yet.
He really transformed the character into, I think, more than what anyone even anticipated.
I've just had a really good time working with him.
Who did this to mommy? Who did this?
I really hope that I can do more stuff with Dev. We've got a very similar energy, I think, in a lot of ways.
I know who.
When Neil decided to cast Hugh Jackman as the villain of Chappie, he had a very particular idea in his head about what the villain would be.
Neil and Hugh together just have developed one of my all-time favourite villain characters in a movie.
You're making me as cross as a frog in a sock, mate. He's A-type, alpha male, jock, with the wickedest mullet haircut ever to be seen on film. I think this dude rocks. It gives me a smile, even at 4 o'clock in the morning. I keep forgetting, I'll look in the mirror and go, yeah.
What I didn't know about Hugh Jackman is that he can improvise incredibly well. And a whole bunch of his stuff, you know, some of the favourite stuff that I saw him do was improvised.
Secure that demon.
Please, huh? You don't negotiate with me, because I'm not your friend.
Hugh is just so professional in the sense that he grasped onto every single aspect of what Neil wanted as a director and gave it even more.
You're absolutely drawn to him and captivated by him, but also quite afraid of him, and maybe even a little bit like disgusted by him, which is just a fun weird way for Hugh Jackman to be on screen.
Vincent, come back! This is the counts, and you're gonna come back! I'm gonna come back! On the move!
Neil just loves to let actors sort of play, and I love that I can have this long take.
Then I think it's great to be working with a director who's so open to all these things we might bring.
Lots of people will try to tell you what you can't do. And you know what? You must never listen. If you want to paint, you can. Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Okay? Okay, nice. Cut.